In this video I'm going to show you how to install and customize the Chameleon template. Now the Chameleon template looks something like this. And to install this template on our website, we're going to go to the client area of Selfie websites and locate the template library. And from there we're going to click through to a Chameleon template. And all we need to do here is click on the download template to download that template to your computer. That's going to take a moment to download. Once that's downloaded, we don't need to open it. We're just going to simply close that window for now. And then the next step is going to be to go to our website and then install that template on our website. So we now need to go to your own website and log into the back end of your website, the control panel. And from there we're going to locate the appearance section and we're going to click themes. Essentially a template is a theme that we're going to upload. We're going to choose add new to add a new theme. And we're going to click the upload theme to upload a theme. We can then click the choose file to select a file from our computer and locate the download section in this window. And then the template that we just downloaded from the client area of Selfie websites will be in that folder. So we're going to simply double click that file there. So that's just confirming we want to choose a chameleon.zip file, and we're going to choose we'll click this button here to install that template now. That'll take a moment or two to upload. As you can see in the bottom left of the screen, it's just giving you a progress as to how far it's uploaded. So once that template has been installed, you should get a message that says something like this: theme installed successfully. And then we're going to click this link here to activate that theme. And once that's activated, that template will take effect immediately on your website. So if we now browse to the front end of our website by clicking on this button on the top left, you can see that Chameleon theme is now visible on our website. So that's great, we've now installed the template on our website. So the next part of this video tutorial is I'm going to show you how to now customize the design and layout of this template to suit what you're looking for your website. Now, once your template is installed, the next step, if you haven't already, is to start creating some pages and posts on your website. So as you can see here, we've got an About Us page, we've got a Contact Us page, we've got a store, and we've got various other pages in our website. So if you haven't already, start creating some pages. The design may not be exactly how you want it for now, which is fine, we can customize that, but it'll be a lot easier to see how your website's going to look once you've actually got some content on your website, so once you've actually created some pages and some posts. Now once you've done that, we can then look at starting to customize the style of our website, and we can do that through the back end of our website. We're going to go to the appearance section and we're going to choose a theme options. Now this is called Chameleon theme options because we're using the Chameleon template. Just going to click that link there. And that's going to take us to what's called the ePanel. Now the ePanel is where you can control a large quantity of settings, sort of design options for your website. Now there's loads of different settings here. In this video I'm just going to cover the key areas you need to be aware of at this stage, just to get you familiar with customizing your website. So we're going to take a look at general settings, and within that we've got general options relating to the website as a whole. We've got options relating to the home page. We've got options relating to the featured slider, which is the image slider on your home page. We've also got the navigation section, which allows you to customize your navigation bar. We've got layout settings, which will allow us to configure what appears on pages and posts. And finally we'll take a look at colorization, which is really giving you the ability to customize colors of your wording on your website. So first of all, let's take a look at general settings. So first of all, let's go ahead and add a logo to our website. Now if we take a look at the front end of our website briefly, you can see that the Chameleon template has the Chameleon logo set as a default logo, and we're going to change that to our own personal logo for our website. So to do that, we're going to go back to the logo section, and we're going to click upload image to upload an image file. Click the select files button, and that will allow you to browse your computer and find your logo image itself. So we're going to choose this image here of the selfie website's logo. Simply double click that, and that will upload that image file to your computer. And then once it's done that, we can scroll down, and you'll notice in relation to the size, you've got the option to change the size of the image itself. Now, full size, the logo that I'm using is 1255 pixels by 584 pixels. Now that might not mean anything to you, but to give you an idea of the best size of logo for your website, you're going to want to upload something that's no wider than 960 pixels and is no taller than 300 pixels. So to show you how that would sort of appears on your website, this space you have available to you here across the width of your site, that is 960 pixels wide, which is why it's best not to include or not to upload a logo that's wider than 960 pixels. And in terms of height wise, if it's any taller than 300 pixels wide, it's going to come down here, so you're going to end up with a massive space up here, which will be your logo, which would mean all of the content of your website would appear further down the page. So if we go back to our settings, you can see the full size of this logo is actually much bigger than that. It's 1255 pixels by 584 pixels tall. So that's going to be really, really big. So if we click use for logo, and I can just show you how that's going to look. Once you've uploaded your logo, we're going to scroll down to the bottom of the screen and click save to save that change. And if we now go back to the front end of our website and just refresh the screen, you'll see that the logo is enormous, so it's taken up the entire width of the screen, so that's way too big. So we can change that by going back to the ePanel and go back to the logo. This time we're going to reset it, so we're going to click reset to get rid of that original file, and we're going to choose upload image. Now this time, because we've already uploaded the logo to our computer, we don't need to select a file again from our computer. This time we're going to choose it from a media library, because we've already uploaded the image to the media library, so we can click the link there. And the image file we just uploaded will be top of your list, so here's the selfie website's logo. Click the show link there, and if we scroll down here, we've got various different settings in relation to the size, so we can change the size to a different size if we want to. So if I change the size of this logo, for example, to 300 pixels wide by 139 pixels tall, that's probably going to be a more appropriate size for that space at the top of our website. So let's click use for logo, and we scroll down and just save that change by clicking the save button. And this time when we refresh our website, the logo is going to be much smaller, and that's a much better size for our website. Now, one thing to bear in mind is your logo doesn't necessarily need to be just this left-hand corner of the top of your website. You have all of this width of the screen available to you, so you could make use of that by perhaps including in your logo image things like perhaps your contact telephone number or your email address, for example. So I've created an additional image here, which is we've got a selfie website's logo on a sort of green background, and then we've got the selfie website's email address here. And as you can see, you could change your image to have all sorts of things here. You could have your telephone number, contact name, anything you want on your image file. And this time, if we upload that file to our website instead of the logo, we're going to make full use of the entire width of the top of our website, so all this blank space isn't wasted. So we can do that by, again, going back to the ePanel, and where we've got a logo, let's just click reset to get rid of that logo for now, and let's choose upload image. And this time we're going to select a file again from our computer, and it's this one here, the wide logo. So we're going to double click that to upload that file to our computer or to our website, and I'm going to make that full size, so that's 960 pixels wide by 200 pixels tall, and I'm going to click the use for logo button, and then scroll down to the bottom of the screen and click save. Now once we go back to the front end of our website and just refresh, you'll see we've now got this really nice header on the top of our website, which has the background background sort of colour. We've got the selfie website's logo, and we've got some additional calls to action at the top right of our website. So that's how you can use the entire logo space at the top of your website. Now the next setting we can change is the fave icon. Now you may be wondering what a fave icon is. Fave icon stands for your favourite icon, and that's what typically appears in the top of your tab, and that's what would appear in someone's favourites when someone's got favourites as part of their web browser. So currently the icon is just this icon of sort of a blank document, but you can change that to be any image that you like. And we can do that in exactly the same way by clicking the upload image button, and we can click the select files button to browse for an image that you want to use for your favourite icon. So I'm going to choose this image here, the selfie website's sort of logo, just the SW logo itself. So we're going to double click that to choose that file, and if we scroll down, now I'm going to set that to full size. It doesn't matter what size that image is, because it will automatically resize to be the appropriate size for your favourite icon. So we can click the use for fave icon button, and once we've done that, that will add the image file to that field, and we can just scroll down to the bottom of the screen now and click the save button to save our change. Once that's done, we now refresh our website. You'll see the icon will have changed, and it's now got the SW logo as part of the actual tab itself. So that's a way you can add a favourite icon to your website. So with our logo for our website now set, we can now get into some of the more meaty design options. So the next option down is a background colour. So if we simply left click in this field here, it will open up a colour palette for you to choose, and you can simply click and drag the circle. So I'm just left clicking and dragging to choose any colour from this palette. I can simply then move the arrows up and down to choose any colour variant I want. So let's choose sort of pale blue colour, I think, for this one. Once you've chosen a colour that you like, simply click on the palette icon in the bottom right hand side of the screen to select that colour, and that will add a colour reference code in that field. Now if we scroll down to the bottom of the screen and just click save to save that change, and let's take a look at how our website looks with that change taking effect. So let's just refresh that, and as you can see, we've changed from sort of a white background to now this pale blue background colour for our website, and that will appear on every page on our website. So it's not just the home page, it's that change takes effect throughout our entire website. So that's how we can change background colours. With the Chameleon template, you can also change the background texture. So if we go back to the front end of the website, the texture relates to kind of the layout of a background. So as you can see, we've got this sort of diamond effect overlaid in front of our background colour, and we can change that to a different texture. So if we go back to the back end of our website and just click on the background texture settings, we've got various different background textures we can choose from. So we could choose thin vertical lines. So if I click on that option and then just save that change to take a look at how that would look. Let's go back to the front end of our website and just refresh, and the sort of diamond patterned effect is now changed to vertical lines. We could also choose any other option from that texture. So let's choose thick flourish, and scroll down. Don't forget to save the change as you're making it. And you can play around with all these different settings just to see which one you like for your website. Now, maybe you don't want to have a solid background colour and texture for your website. Perhaps you want to have a background image on your website. Now, you could upload a background image by going through a background image setting in the ePanel and click upload image in exactly the same way we did for the logo. However, I'd recommend you don't do it that way, and I'll show you why not. If we choose to upload an image through this way, let's select a file, and I'm going to choose this industrial plate image as my background. Now once that's uploaded, we're going to simply scroll down this window, and we're going to choose the Use for Background Image button to use that background image, and we'll save that in exactly the same way. So let's save that, and now let's take a look at our website. Now this time we've got a background image. Now that looks great because we've got this background image on our website. However, as we scroll down further, you can see the background image stops, and then we've got the original background colour that we set previously. Now that looks pretty dire. Now the reason for that is the background image is a certain size, so it's a certain height, and when it gets to the end of the image it just stops. Now we don't want that. We want that to effectively repeat itself, so it doesn't have this blue background. Instead the image just repeats itself underneath, but you can't do that through the ePanel. So if we go back to the ePanel and choose the theme options, let's just scroll back down to the background image, and let's just reset that to get rid of that background. And now let's scroll down to the bottom of the screen just to save that change. What we're going to do instead is we're going to go to the front end of our website, and if you hover over your website name here, and we're going to choose the link for Customize, and from here we can select a background image, and by doing it this way it will give us a few additional settings for the background image itself. So if I now choose an image, so I'm going to select a file, and I'll choose the same image for the industrial plate image, and I'll just take a moment or two to upload. So my background's now been uploaded, and if I scroll down a bit further you'll see we've got some additional options relating to our background. So we can choose to repeat the background image, and what that means is when the image stops it will just start again. So we can tile that image. If we choose to tile vertically, what it means is when it gets to the bottom of the image, instead of it cutting off as we saw earlier, it will just start the image again. We can then choose a background position if you wanted to position it. Now because this is a very large image in terms of its width, we don't really need to worry too much about a position for that one. So we're just going to tile it vertically, and we're going to click Save and Publish. And this time when we scroll down the screen, you'll see that we don't actually get to the end of the image. The image just stays in a fixed position. So we haven't got that horrible cut off of the image. We've got a solid background image itself. So that's a much better way of adding a background image to your website. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other settings we have available. So the next setting we have available is choosing a header font. So currently a header font is set to Crayon, but we can change that. There's various different styles of header font that we can choose. Now you may be wondering what a header is, what the header font is. So to show you what that is, if we go to one of our pages on our website, now the header font isn't the title of a page. This is the title. A header is something that's contained within the content of your page itself. So if we go to the page editor screen, and let's just add a header. So let's pop our cursor there, and to set a header all we need to do is click on this drop down box that currently reads paragraph and choose one of our headings. Now we're going to just select heading 1, that's the main header, and we're going to update that. And let's now view that page. So now we can see this is our header. So it's currently in this font here, and it's in this kind of pink colour. So if we go back to our ePanel and let's just change the font to something completely different. Let's try this one here. And don't forget to scroll down and save your change when you're making a change. And we can then go back and refresh the screen and just take a look at what that looks like. So as you can see, the header style, or the font style, has now changed. So you can have a play around of all the different style of your website, all the different styles of the font in your website, to choose a font that you really like if you want to do that, or you can just stick with the default setting. It's completely up to you. You can also change the heading colour, so as we've currently got here, we've got a pink heading. We can go back in and change that by going back to this section here, and this time we're going to select the heading font colour, which is currently set to this pink colour. But let's change that to perhaps a nice dark blue colour. I'm going to left click and drag the little circle around, choose a gradient of that blue I like, so let's choose a nice dark blue colour. Once you've chosen a colour, simply click on the palette icon on the bottom right of a window, and let's scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and let's just save that change. And if we now go and view our web page and just refresh, the heading colour will have changed to a dark blue colour. So that's how we can change the font style and font colours for our headings. Now the next two options we have available to us are to select the style of a body font and to select the colour of a body font. Now you may be wondering what a body font is, and that would be a good question. The body font is the actual copy, so the actual main wording on your website pages and posts, so it's the style of this wording here. And we can change the style of that font, and we can change the colour of that font. So currently it's kind of a dark grey colour, and we can change that by changing the font colour. So we click on this area here, and again we can use a palette tool to choose a colour we like. So let's make it a really bright green just to really stand out. So let's choose a green, and let's left click, and holding the left click mouse just drag across the palette to choose a colour, and we'll choose that one. And once again we'll click on the bottom right palette icon to select that colour, and if we scroll down to the bottom, let's just save that change. And let's take a look at how our website looks once I refresh with a nice bright green body font. So yeah, there's a really nice bright green wording on our website. You kind of get the idea, hopefully. That's how you can change the colour, so you can be specific as to whether you want black, a dark grey, a light grey, or any variation of any colour that you like. As we saw back there, we can also change the body font style. So currently it is set to this Droid Sans style, and you can change that. There's a whole range of different text styles to choose from, so have a play with some of those and see which style you like for your website. So we can change that to Noble, and let's scroll down and take a look at how that one looks. And let's just refresh our screen, and it's a very subtle change, but you can see the style has changed for the body font itself. So that's how we can change things like the headers and the body font styles and colours on your web pages and posts. Now if you have a Facebook page or a Twitter page, you can enable the icons on your website. So if we go to the front end of our website, and let's just scroll to the top here, you can see at the top here in the header we've got an icon for Twitter, an icon for an RSS feed, and an icon for Facebook. And so if you have one of those, you can configure that so it automatically links to your Twitter page or your Facebook page, or if you have an RSS feed. You can disable those as well. So if you only have a Facebook page, for example, and you don't have Twitter and you don't have an RSS feed, we can just click on those to disable those, so it only shows Facebook. And then when we save that change and just refresh, that would have taken away the Facebook it would have taken away the Twitter and the RSS feed and just left us with a Facebook icon. Now in order to get your website to point to your Facebook page, all you need to do is go down to these sections here. So if you have a Twitter page, you can put in your Twitter web address here. If you have an RSS feed, you can put in your RSS URL here. And if you have a Facebook page, you can put in your Facebook page web address here, and that will link directly to your Facebook page. Now the final sections I wanted to show you in the general settings tab relates to your control panel. So you can choose to disable that if you like. So your control panel, if we have a look at the front end of our website, is if I click this little plus icon here, the fly out menu will appear. That's essentially our sort of control panel, or extra sort of palette if you like, so we can make changes on the fly and preview those changes directly as we're making them. Now you can choose to disable that if you want to by clicking on the This is Enabled button to disable it. And if we now save that change, next time we go to the front end of our website and just refresh that screen, Now you can see there's no option to have the menu on the left hand side, so you can take that away if you want to. And then lastly, the responsive layout. Now that should already be set to enabled. Now what that means is your website will automatically change its layout for whatever device it's being viewed on. So if your customers or your visitors are viewing your website on a smartphone or a tablet, your website will actually change its sort of layout style to suit that device. So I'd strongly recommend you leave that as enabled. And that is the general settings general tab pretty much summarized. So next we're going to take a look at some of the settings we have available through the home page. Now within the ePanel, the homepage tab within the general settings section allows us to configure a whole range of different settings to define the layout and the style, I suppose, of our homepage itself. So this page here that we're seeing here. So all of the content on here and sort of a layout, we've got a huge amount of flexibility to change that to how we want it. So we can go back to the back end and let's just take a look at some of the settings in a bit more detail. So first of all, we've got the option to display content areas. Now a handy tip is if you click on the question mark on the top right of each of these boxes, that'll just give you a bit of commentary as to what that does. So this content areas allows you to choose whether you want to display those on your homepage or not. So currently they are displayed, so if we just disable those, and I can show you what change that will look like. If we just save that and go back to the front end of our website, and if we just now refresh that, you'll see that the sections underneath, so where we had the About Us, the 3 About Us pages, or 3 About Us sections, they've now completely disappeared. So it's reduced the amount of content we have on a homepage. So you can choose to disable that section if you want to. I'm going to leave that as enabled. We've also got the option to display a media section. Now that's currently enabled. If we scroll to, we'll take a look at the front end of our website and just show you what that is. The media section is just the section that previews some of the featured images for some of our posts at the bottom here on our homepage. Now we can disable that by going back to the ePanel and just clicking on the This is Enabled button to disable it. And if we scroll down, click Save, and if we now go back to the front end of our website and refresh that screen, you'll see that the multimedia section now has disappeared from the bottom of our website. We've also got the option to display the homepage quote. So we have a look at the front end of our website. The homepage quote is this section here. So it allows you to write a some sort of quote or some sort of statement about your service or your company, and a subheading underneath there, so you can put whatever you like in there. Now if you want to keep it enabled, obviously just keep it enabled. If you want to take it off completely, you can simply click that and that will remove the quote from your website. So let's just save that and just take a look at that change. Again, we're just going to refresh that and you'll see that homepage quote will have now disappeared. So if you don't want to have a sort of written statement there, you can take that off. Now if we go back and let's just enable that again, you'll notice that the homepage quote itself was a lot of gobbledygook really. It didn't really mean anything. It's just some basic sort of text that has been dropped in as part of a template. So we can overwrite that by going to where it says quote line 1 text. So this is the top line of text, so this line here. So we can change that. So we could say let's say welcome to selfie websites, and then quote line 2, as you probably guessed, is the line underneath that. So that's kind of your subheading if you like. So let's just type in there, helping small business owners take control of their websites. And let's just scroll down and save that change. And if we now preview the front end of the website again, you can see that it's now changed to say exactly what we want to say on our website, and that's a really nice effect. That looks really good. So it kind of breaks up the slider at the top with any content we've got underneath. So I'm going to leave that there. And let's go back to the back end of our website, and let's take a look at some of the other settings we have available to us. Now the next things we can play with are the content areas, so we can define what appears in content area 1, what appears in content area 2, and what appears in content area 3. Now you may be wondering, what is content area 1 and what is content area 2 and what is content area 3? Well, let's take a look at the front end of our website, and I can show you. It's these sections here. So here's content area 1, this section here. This section here is content area 2, and this section here is content area 3. And what we can do is define a specific page to show a summary of that page in each of these content areas. So currently it's set to the About Us page, as you can see here, and it's the About Us page in all three, which doesn't really make sense. We don't want to have 3 About Us sections there, so let's change that. So let's click on this section here, and it will give you a drop down box allowing you to choose any other page that you've created on your website. Now this goes back to a point I made earlier about it being a good idea when you've installed your design initially to actually start creating some pages on your website, because then you'll be able to define sections like this on your website. Obviously, if you haven't created any pages on your website yet, there won't be any pages in this list here. So let's choose Meet the Team as content area 2, and content area 3, let's specify I don't know, perhaps our location, and let's scroll down and just save that change. And if we now take a look at our website, you can see the 3 content areas are now changed. We've now got About Us, we've got Meet the Team, and our location. Now you might be wondering how you can change the images that appear here, or you might be wondering, how does the website know which images to drop in here? Now that relates to your featured image on your page itself. So let's just take a look at how to actually define the featured image for that page. So in order to define a featured image for your page, let's just click through to the page itself. So here we are at a page, and let's go to the Edit Page screen. And from the Page Editor screen, if we scroll down, on the right hand side there's a section down here which allows you to add a featured image. So if you've already got an image in here, it'll obviously be showing there. Let's just remove that, just so I can show you how to add a featured image in here. If you don't have a featured image, you have a link that says Set Featured Image, so let's just click that link there. And you can then choose from your media library. Now your media library is any images you've already uploaded to your website that are available, so these are all the images I currently have on this website. But in this instance we're going to upload a new file, so we're going to click the Upload Files, and that will allow us to upload a new file. So once we've clicked on the Upload Files tab, we'll have the option to select a file from your computer, so let's click that button there. And then you can browse your computer to find the image you want to use as your featured image. Now I'm just going to drop in, I think it's a picture of the chrysanthemum, so let's drop that one in. Now once that image is uploaded, you can then click Set Featured Image on the bottom right hand side of your screen, and that will add that image as your featured image. So if we now update that page to save that change, and let's now take a look back at our home page, and we can see that the About Us section will have changed, and we've now got this really nice image of the chrysanthemum. Now as you can see here, the height of the image in the About Us is slightly different to the height of these other images. Now that's because this image that I've used here is a different size image to these other images. So it's a good idea when you're uploading images for your website, that if you want to use them for a section like this, that you make sure they're all set to a standard size. Now it may be when you've defined your content areas on your home page, you may end up with something like this. So a number of your content areas has lots and lots and lots of text all the way down here, and in fact it's your entire content of your page. Now you're not going to want the entire content of your page showing on your home page. You probably just want a snippet or a summary of that home page. So I'm going to show you how you can define that now. In order to do that, what you need to do is go into the page itself. So we're going to click through to a page editor. So here's the Meet the Team page, and we're going to click to edit that page. And in order to define where we want the wording to effectively cut off to provide a summary, So let's just add some extra wording up here to say, here is my summary that I want on the home page. And then if I just say I don't want this to appear on my home page. So I just want this bit here to appear on my home page, but I don't want anything after this point here to appear on my home page. Obviously I still want it in my article or my page itself, but I don't want it on the home page. So how do we define that? How do we specify that? In order to do that, what you need to do is click on the text tab here, and this will show the HTML code for your web page. Now don't panic, we're not going to start writing anything in code, but what we are going to do is going to use one of these buttons up here, the More button, and what that does is effectively draws a line across where you want that cutoff to be. So if we just put our cursor here in between the two, and let's just click the button that says More, we just scroll up and see what that's done. As you can see, it's added a bit of code in here to say more, and it doesn't really mean anything to us. I'm just going to bring that line back up. But what it does do is if we click on the visual tab, and you can see there's a definite line or cutoff between this top half that I want to appear on the home page and this bottom half. Now if I update that and just take a look at our page, it hasn't actually changed anything on our page. So if we view the page itself, it will still look exactly identical. It won't have a line through it with the word more. As you can see, there's nothing here. It's a bit of invisible code that no one else is going to see. But what it does mean is when we go and have a look at the home page, the Meet the Team section will now only have that first line appearing on the home page. So here we go, here's Meet the Team, and here's that first line. As you can see, now there is nothing else showing underneath that section. And all we did in order to achieve that was to add that more bit of code in to the page itself. So that's how we can effectively truncate the wording that appears on your home page in these content areas. Now if you decide you want to keep the multimedia bar on your home page, you can define how many sort of images appear there by going back to the ePanel, and this section here that says number of posts in media bar, you can specify exactly how many posts you want to appear. You can also exclude certain categories, so when you're creating posts on your website, you can create categories for those posts. Now if you haven't already seen the video we have in the client area of Selfie websites that explains about posts and how to add posts, take a look at that one, and that will explain about categories and how to create categories. And then from here you'll be able to exclude those categories you don't want appearing in your media bar, or you can leave them all ticked to include them all. Now the last tab we have available within the general settings is the featured slider. Now a featured slider is probably going to be one of the key elements of your home page. So we take a look at our home page. You can see here is our featured slider rotating through two different images currently, and we can basically, that's made up of pages or posts. So you can specify which pages or which posts appear as part of your featured slider, and when you create featured images for your pages and your posts, that will define which image appears here on your slider. So that gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of what we want to appear in our slider. So if we go back to our options, first of all we can disable the feature slider. So if you don't want to have the slider on your home page, you can disable that by simply clicking that button there and saving your change. Now we're going to keep it enabled, so let's just click that there. Now it's currently set to pick up posts, so you can specify which category of posts you want to appear as part of your homepage slider. So for example, you may have got 200 posts on your website. You're not going to want all 200 posts to be rotating through your featured slider on your homepage. So what you can do is create a specific category of posts, as I've done here. I've called mine homepage posts, and what I'll do is I'll only tick I'll only include those posts that I want on my homepage slider. I'll only include those within that category of homepage posts. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you haven't already watched the video tutorial on creating posts and creating categories, take a look at that one in the client area of selfie websites, and that will just explain how to create categories for your posts. So you can choose from all of the categories you've created which category of post you want to appear for your slider. I'm going to leave that as homepage posts for now. You can also define how many slides appear. So currently it's set to 3. Now the reason we didn't see 3 and we only saw 2 is because I've currently only got 2 posts in my featured category of homepage posts. But if I had 10 posts within that featured category, it would still only show 3. But you can change that to any number that you like by simply over-typing that. Now it may be that you don't want to use posts as part of your slider, perhaps you want to use pages instead. Currently it's disabled, so we can enable that by simply clicking that button there to enable that functionality, and by enabling the use pages section it will automatically discount all the posts from here, and instead you can specify which pages you want to appear in your slider. Now this box will give you an entire list of all the pages you have on your website. All you need to do is simply click which pages you want to appear on your slider, and if we scroll down and just save that change and take a look at the front end of our website, just refresh it, you'll see that the slider's now changed. So we've now got a Meet the Team page, we've now got an About Us page, and we've now got a Contact Us page. So that's how you can choose whether you want posts or pages as part of your slider. Now you've probably noticed that as this slider is cycling through all the different slides, some images are bigger than others, and obviously that pushes the content of your homepage down. So when you're creating, when you're adding images to your pages or posts that you want to use as part of your slider, I strongly recommend you keep them all the same size image, and that will ensure the area for your slider remains the same size. Now you will have also noticed that the slider is cycling through all the different slides all by itself. I'm not clicking any buttons, I'm not doing anything, it's doing it all by itself. And you can define how quickly or how slowly that happens by going back to the settings. And the automatic animation speed is currently set to 3000 milliseconds, so effectively 3 seconds. So if we wanted to make it slower, we could change that to a higher number, so let's make that 6000 instead, and let's save that change. And if we now look at our homepage and just refresh it, the time in which it cycles through all the different slides will be a lot longer now. So if we just wait for it to rotate to the next slide, there we go. So that slowed it right up. If we conversely, if we change that to 1000, that's going to be really fast. So let's just change that and take a look at our homepage and just refresh that screen, and that's going to cycle through the slides really quickly. So that's how you can change the speed at which it changes the slide. Now the last thing I want to show you in relation to the featured slider is the ordering in which the slides appear. Now currently we have the Meet the Team page appearing in our slider first, followed by the Contact Us page, and followed by the About Us page. But what if you don't want it in that order? Perhaps you want the About Us page to appear first. How do we change the ordering for that in the slider? Well, to do that we need to go into the page editor itself. So we're going to click through to the actual page itself, and we're going to click to edit that page. And on the right hand side we're just going to scroll down, and under the page attributes there is a section that says order, and this is the order that this page will appear in our featured slider. However, and we'll come on to this in a couple of moments, this also affects the ordering in which this page appears in your navigation bar. We'll come on to that in a little minute. But for now, let's just focus on the featured slider. So it's currently ordered number 4, so that's why it's appearing last. So let's change that to number 1, and click update to update that page. And if we now go back to our home page, now the About Us page still isn't appearing first, so we need to go into this page, the Meet the Team page, and just change the order of that. So let's go into the edit page, and on the right hand side you see the order value here is 0, so let's change that to number 2 and click update. And if we now go back and view our homepage again, you'll see that the About Us page now appears first, and Meet the Team is now second. So that's how we can change the ordering in the featured slider itself. Now, I briefly touched on the navigation bar, and that leads us nicely into the next section we're going to take a look at, which is the navigation bar itself. So within the ePanel, under the navigation section, this is where we can configure the ordering of pages and defining exactly which pages appear in our navigation bar. Now, in the first tab, we've got the option to choose which pages on our website we want to appear in our navigation bar. So here they all are. And within this section here will be an entire listing of every page you have on your website. Now, it's quite likely you're not going to want every single page to appear in your navigation bar, and we can define which ones appear by simply clicking on any of these to put a cross next to them to indicate any pages which we don't want to appear on our navigation bar. So let's just take these three off. So instead we'll just have the About Us page, the Meet the Team page, and our location page shown in our navigation bar. So we now scroll down and just save that change. And let's take a look at the front end of our website, just refresh, and you'll see that the navigation bar is now changed to just include those pages alone. So we've now got the About Us page, and we've got our location and Meet the Team. Now you'll notice that our location and Meet the Team appear under the About Us page, and that's because they're created as child pages. So what that means is it's created with the heading of About Us. So if we click through to our location, and I can just explain what I mean by that. If we go to the Edit Page option, and we scroll down, under Page Attributes we have the option to add a parent page. Now, as you can see, the parent page in this case is set to About Us. So that means when someone hovers over the About Us page, in this case as part of a navigation bar, the Meet the Team page, the allocation page, which we're on currently, will appear under the heading of About Us, along with the other page, which is Meet the Team. Now, we could change that to no parent, and if we change that to no parent and click Update, what that would do is that will just put a page on its own in the navigation bar. So if we now go back to the home page and just take a look at that change, our location now appears as its own item in the navigation bar. And if we hover over About Us, the only page that appears underneath that option now is just the Meet the Team page. So that's how we can define which pages appear in our navigation bar. Now, what I'm going to show you next is how you can change the ordering of those pages. So we've defined which pages we want to appear in our navigation bar. That's great, but it may be we want them in a completely different order. So for example, our location appears next to home and About Us appears next. Perhaps we want About Us to appear first in the list. How do we move that across as part of a navigation bar? Now, this works in exactly the same way as we configured for the featured slider. So if we go to About Us page, so click through to that page itself and go to the Edit Page option, on the right hand side, if you remember, there was under the Page Attributes there was an option that gave us an order. Now that order is currently set to number 1. So if we leave that as number 1, just click Update and go back to the home page. Now, we wanted About Us to appear first. It is set to number 1, but it's not appearing first for some reason. And that's probably because our location is also set to number 1, or it may even be set to 0. So let's click through and find out. So if we go to the Edit Page option, and again under Page Attributes, you can see the order is set to 0, so that's before 1. So let's change that to 2 and update that. And now the allocation page will appear behind the About Us page. So we've now changed the ordering, so About Us now appears first next to the home page link, and our location is next. So that's how you can change the ordering of your pages in the navigation bar. Now let's take a look at some of the other settings we have available in the navigation area of the ePanel. So next down we have the option to include or show drop-down menus, which is currently enabled. So if you remember, if we go back to the home page and we hover over About Us, you'll see that Meet the Team appears underneath. Now we can disable that functionality if you want, and we can do that by disabling that so it does not show drop-down menus. And if we save that change, this time when we go back to the front end of our website and just refresh the screen, If we hover over About Us this time, nothing will happen, and that's because we've disabled that functionality. So let's go back to our ePanel. So that's how we can disable drop-down menus. I'm going to leave that enabled. Next option we have is to display a home link. Now that's currently enabled. So if we go back to the front end of the website and just take a look, you'll notice that a link for home is showing here. However, we didn't actually specify that as part of a page listing. There's no option here to add a link for home. We've just got these 3 pages here, and that's because the website is automatically showing a home link as part of your navigation bar, because it assumes you're going to want a link to your home page as part of your navigation bar. Now, maybe you don't want a link to your home page as part of your navigation bar, so we can disable that if you want to by simply clicking there, and we save that change. That will remove the link that says home from your navigation bar. So we just refresh that screen and take a look. You can see that home link has now disappeared. Now, one final point I want to show you in the navigation section is the sort page links. Now this relates to the order that you want your pages to appear. Now, as we've already seen, we were able to change the ordering that our pages appear in the navigation bar by going through to the page editor themselves and specifying a number sequence for those pages. Now that will only work if you have sort pages links set to menu order from this drop down list here. So make sure menu order is selected, and that will allow you to sort your pages in the navigation bar as we did earlier. Now the last thing I want to show you in relation to the navigation setting is in the categories tab. Now this allows you to add a category of your posts to your navigation bar. So we take a look at the front end of our website. You'll notice that in addition to the About Us page and the Our Location page, we also have a link in our navigation bar for homepage posts, and that's a category of posts that I've created. And you can add any categories of posts you want in there. So in this section here will be a listing of all the categories of posts that you've created. Now, if you're not sure what post categories are or how to create them, take a look at one of the previous videos we've created on the Selfie website's client area, which explains a bit more about what posts are, and within that video it will explain how to create categories for your posts. So in this instance we've got homepage post appearing as part of our navigation bar. So if we click on that link, that will take us directly to a page which lists all our posts within that category. So I've got 2 posts that are in that specific category. So that's how you could add a category of posts to your navigation bar. Now I'm going to take that off, so you can disable that by effectively just putting a cross, so clicking on the green tick to put a cross next to all of the posts there, or post categories. And if you save that change, that will remove that category of posts from your navigation bar. As you can see, we've now just got the About Us page and the Our Location page in the navigation bar. Now the next section we're going to look at is the layout settings. Now this allows you to configure, well, you probably guessed it, the settings for the layout of your posts and your pages. So we just take a look at our post layout first of all. If I go back to the front end of our website, here's a post that I've created, and we've got the title of a post here, and underneath the title we've got who it was posted by, so the user for the website, so it's posted by the admin user, the date that post was posted, the categories of posts to which that article is attributed to, so this article comes under the heading of homepage posts, and also comes under the post category of slider and website tips. So it comes under 3 post categories, so they're all listed here. It also tells me how many comments there are on this post. If we scroll down and take a look at the post in a bit more detail, you can see we've also got a thumbnail image of the post itself. We've then got the content of the post, and underneath we've got a section that allows my website visitors to comment on the post, add their comments and views. So if we go back to the ePanel, we can see we've got the author here. So that is, we scroll up, as you can see, that is here, posted by admin, that's the author. We've got the date, And if we go back and have a look, there we go, there's the date. We've also got the option to include the categories of posts that article is attributed to. So here are the categories of posts. And we've also got comments shown here, so this shows us how many comments are on there. So we can choose to disable those if we want to, so by clicking on them, and effectively it unhighlights each of those. If we unhighlight all of those by clicking on them all, and just save that change, and let's take a look at the front end of our website and just refresh that, you'll notice that all those options have now disappeared, or all those bits at the top have disappeared, so we've now just got the title and nothing else underneath that. So that's how you can remove that section from your post if you want to, and that will apply to all of your posts on your website. Now if we take a look back at the panel, you'll see we've also got place thumbs on posts is enabled, so that's showing the thumbnail image. Now if we disable that by clicking on that and just save that change, and let's refresh the page, you'll see that a thumbnail image will disappear. So now we've just got the title of the article and the content of the article itself. And the last thing we have the option to disable is the comments. So if you don't want your website users to be able to post their views or comments on your articles, you can disable that by clicking there and saving that change. And if we now just refresh and take a look, you'll see that the section below to add comments has now disappeared. So we literally just have a title of the article and the content of the article itself. Now within this single page layout we've got a couple of options which are the same. So in our pages we can choose to show thumbnail images on our pages if we want to by enabling that, and we can also allow our website visitors to add comments on our pages if we want to do that as well by simply clicking there to enable it and saving that change. Now before I save that change, let's just take a look at one of our pages. So let's take a look at the About Us page. So you can see there's currently no thumbnail image, and there's no section at the bottom that allows our website visitors to add any comments. But if we now go back and enable those, so they're enabled, let's just save that change. And if we go back to the front end of our website and just refresh that page, you'll see that now we've got a thumbnail image. This is our featured image on the page itself showing, and at the bottom of our page we also allow our website visitors to add comments on our pages. So that's how you can enable those two options if you want to. Now the last section we're going to take a look at in this video is the colorization setting. Now these settings allow you to customize the colors of various fonts on your website. Now if you want to do that, first of all we need to enable custom colors, so make sure this is set to enabled, which will allow you to define some custom colors on your website. And if we scroll down, the first option we have that we can make a change to is the main font color. Now if we click in this field here, that will open up a familiar window to you, which is the palette, and we can simply left click and drag to choose any color that we want for our main font color. So if we take a look at the front end of our website first of all, you can see that the main font color is kind of like this dark grey color, and we can override that by choosing a different color. So let's choose let's choose a vibrant pink color, make it really stand out. And don't forget to click the bottom right icon, the palette, when you've chosen your color, and now scroll down to the bottom and save that change. So much like we did earlier when we were defining custom colors for the background of our website. And if we just refresh that, you'll see that now we've got this really vibrant pink font as part of our main website. So that's how you can change the color of the wording on your website. Now we can also change the colors of our links on our website. So if we go and take a look at the front end of our website for a moment, here's a hyperlink on my website, and the link color is currently this pale blue color, or kind of aqua blue color, and we can change the color of those links by simply clicking and choosing a different color if we want to. So let's choose, I want to choose a green color, make it really stand out. There we go. And again, click on the palette icon when you've chosen your color, scroll down and save that change. And if we now refresh our website and just take a look at that, that's going to change the link to a green color, so all the links on my website will now be green. We can also change the colour of the hyperlinks in the navigation bar. So if we just take a look at the front end of our website, you can see that the links in our navigation bar are kind of this sort of dark grey, almost black colour, and we can change the colour of those if we want to by choosing a different menu link colour. So let's change that to, I don't know, let's make that perhaps a red. So we click and drag, choose a red colour. Again, save that change, and if we just refresh the screen on the front end of our website, and you'll see the links have now changed to be this red colour. Now the next option we have in the ePanel is menu active link colour. Now what does that mean? Well, the menu active link is the page which you're currently on. So we're currently on the home page, so it doesn't really count. So we click on the About Us page, for example. You can see the About Us page, because we're on that page, in the navigation bar it's shown as a different colour, and it's currently this kind of dark blue or dark sort of grey blue colour. We can change that again by going and choosing a different menu active link colour. So we change that to let's change that to a pale blue colour, and again save that change. Just go back to the front end and refresh that screen. You'll see that the About Us link in the navigation bar is now changed to that pale blue colour. Now we can also change the colour of the headings on our website. So if you see they're currently a black colour, so we go back and we can change the headings colour. If we change it to, let's make it a kind of dirty yellow colour. There we go. And we'll just save that change. And let's go back to the front end of the website and take a look. You'll see that the headings on our website have now changed to that dirty yellow colour, and if we click through to one of the pages themselves, you'll see that the heading colour also appears on the actual page title as well. So hopefully that's given you some really good guidance and advice on how you can customise the style of your Chameleon template. So we've changed things like background colours, added background images, we've added things like a logo and a fave icon. We've also been able to configure the homepage slider to define exactly which pages or posts appear in our slider. We've also taken a look at how to configure our navigation bar, and we've also taken a look at all the settings we have available to configure the homepage to exactly what we want to include on the homepage. So hopefully that's given you some really good sort of food for thought to get you started with customizing your own website using the Chameleon template.